All right, so welcome to Social Nouns Worldbuilding. We're basically using ChatGPT to first kind of figure out what are the crucial elements of world building in the first place. So it's kind of the setting uh, that contains kind of the world, economics, politics, weapons, combat, war, law, justice, medicine, health, story, the main conflict, kind of what the themes are to explore in the story, um, characters, which is kind of species, biology, appearances, tone and atmosphere, technology, culture, society. And I'm currently kind of expanding on this society, culture, technology. I'm going to expand on all of these from kind of three different perspectives. Of what it would look like if it's cyberpunk, what it would look like if it's kind of sci-fi, and then what it would look like if it's mixed. And at the moment, we're just generating um, the kind of framework to do this world building. Uh, I've never done world building before, so this is an interesting experiment at the same time for me. And so what do we have here? So we have the cyberpunk setting for the societal and sociological concepts. So we're gonna just put it here, and I'm using Lucid Spark to do this work, this kind of like gathering work. And yeah, again, of course, Chat GPT for the generation part. And yeah, we'll be able to just kind of like get an idea, hopefully, of what kind of elements we need to consider when we are world building in the first place, kind of the overarching framework, and then as the process kind of goes along and progresses, we'll be thinking deeper about what does this mean for social nouns in specific, right? Um, and so let's take the mixed now. So we'll do listings that are important to consider when thinking about societal sociological concepts while world building in a mixed cyberpunk and sci-fi setting. And yeah, Chat GPT is going to think for a little while. It is slightly more complex when you're mixing these two genres together, but it should be able to do it. And there it goes. So let's just kind of like look at this. So impact of technology and on society. The technology in mixed cyberpunk science fiction world should be a significant impact on the society, for better or for worse. It should have an effect. Uh, the way it should affect the way people live, work, and interact with each other, and it should play a role in conflicts and challenges faced by the characters. The role of corporations and power structures. In a mixed cyberpunk and science fiction world, the corporations and other powerful institutions may have a significant impact on society and culture. They may also they may control the flow of information, the distribution of resources, and the social norms and values of the people. Excuse me. The impact of social and economic inequality. The society in a mixed cyberpunk and science fiction world is often divided with a small elite class of powerful individuals and corporations and a vast underclass of marginalized people. Well, not so far from reality, is it? The social and economic inequality may have significant effects on the culture and the way people interact with each other. The role of rebellion and counterculture. The characters in a mixed cyberpunk and science fiction world are often rebels and outcasts who reject the dominant culture and its values. They may form their own countercultural movements and communities with their own norms and values and beliefs. Right, so kind of fits our little theme here of decentralized social media, right? The impact of virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality and augmented reality may play a significant right? And then it wants to kind of continue. But so let's actually let it continue. So we're gonna go like this, continue from, and I'm gonna take this last line here, and go to quotes, and now it should continue kind of doing the list here. So it's gonna do the first one. It's gonna do like this without the list number, but it should continue. Hopefully. Society. Yep, there it goes. It continues. So yeah, we got role of hackers, cybernetic augmentation, impact of contact with other species, role of space travel, colonization, relationships with technology and nature, and so on and so forth. So I think we're gonna now do the addition here under the mixed. Let's get some more visible color. There we go. Nice and neat. And continue from here. Boom. So this mix thing is always kind of slightly longer, as you can see here, due to the fact that it is just more complex. So I'm gonna do it like that. All right, there we go. So we have some guidance now in our thinking about the society and so on. What do we take next? So I was kind of thinking about this kind of the government corporation side, but I don't think that's gonna kind of work. We'll put this to the side for now. I don't think the actual nouns DAO is like the government, right? And it's a little harsh to say that the other nouns DAOs would be like corporations, but you could sort of like conceptually think like if you had the world build that these would take the roles of these things, or the governmental organizations could take maybe the roles of these things, and then the sub DAOs could be like subspecies or a species or something like that. All right, and what do we have next? The world. Let's leave it there for now, and tone and atmosphere. So actually, like the tone and atmosphere is going to be a tricky one because there's a certain tone, of course, kind of set by default by sci-fi and cyberpunk, and then probably like a mixture of that. It'll generate to some very particular thing, but because also nouns is such a wholesome and nice and fluffy kind of environment, I don't want to like do like a super dystopian um, like setting, right? I want to like do some kind of like positive, constructive, but taking into account the sort of lurking evil of the centralized side of things. It's not just centralized social media, obviously. It's everything centralization is doing currently. So I want to take those into account, and then it's just generally it just says about tone and atmosphere that tone and atmosphere should be consistent with the genre and the world, and should create a sense of immersion for the reader, right? But let's just see kind of like what it would say if we were to create kind of like the default types of tone and atmosphere for these for our three kind of subcategories that we've chosen to begin this world building with. So let's go here, and we'll go. Let's take this first. So societal and sociological. So it was tone and atmosphere. Tone and atmosphere. Concepts while world building in a cyberpunk setting. Yes. So it thinks for a while. I guess these are sort of fairly complex questions. When thinking about the tone and atmosphere while world building in cyberpunk setting, there are several important things to consider. Overall mood. So yeah, so this is great. So it's basically like it gives us a framework to think about all these things. So even though we might not necessarily use the either cyberpunk or sci-fi directly, or even the mixed one, we can still get like ideas and a framework, right? So that's what this tool is really, really great for. But it actually also is great for just generating completely unique things. Hopefully, we'll come to that later. Yesterday, I created like a 166 page document for world building in like an epic sci-fi setting. So I have some experience with it already. So um, and yeah, so just to clarify, that was my first touch to world building, by the way. But anyway, so let's do this sci-fi now. Oh, skific. Oops. It understands my mistake, but I'm just gonna correct it anyway. All right, and then let's put these things into our document here. Cyberpunk. Boom. And then let's take a look at what it said. Overall mood and atmosphere. The mood and atmosphere of cyberpunk should be dark, grim, oppressive, reflecting harsh realities of the world. It should convey a sense of disillusionment, decay, and cynicism, but also rebellion and resilience. Right. So like this is, I feel like it's a little dark for us, right? But we can still kind of take elements of this, maybe, um, and then just really think about like in terms of the concepts, right? That the framework offers us. The use of color and lighting. Oops. The colors and lighting in a cyberpunk world should be carefully chosen to reflect the desired mood. So I think we've kind of chosen the color and the lighting already. So it's like it's a little less cyberpunky, right? That we have in the social nouns. If we think about the types of like graphics that we have. Actually, I'll just copy him some here. 1 second. Okay, so you know, as you can see, like we have some elements of this kind of cyberpunkiness, but the colors are, and the colors are even like they are a bit neon, they're a bit bright. Of course, we're using a lot of colors that actually all the colors that are coming from the nouns OG, but we're just sort of mixing them a little bit. Maybe making it a little bit kind of brighter, a little bit neon. Um, but in terms of dark and grim, I'm not really seeing that here. Um, it's like a little bit more how would I say friendly environment.